You know, I was born here in in a hospital, which was unusual in those days. But I was born in a hospital 97 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of it, when I was growing, there was a lot that you don't understand the words. They tell you, but as the years go by, you forget them.
Yeah.
So I'm just like any other kid that learned something and is finally in another world. You know what I mean?
Could you provide more insight on your childhood and where you grew up in?
Talk about your childhood.
Well, my childhood was okay. I didn't know the difference if we were poor or rich. I didn't know. My mom never made an issue out of it.
Yeah.
She always made the best that she could whenever she cooked or did anything. And even traveling, we did very little traveling unless we took the family with us.
Yeah.
That's the way we lived. My mother and father, that's the way they lived. And that's about the way it is. And there was not much more than that. I never, I'm more kind of laid back. And she preached it to the kid, like your mother would tell you, don't do this, don't do that. So there's a yes and a no to everything. And I always tell my kids, if people want to know anything about you and they don't know much about you, they can look beyond and find out what kind of a person you really are. And that's where you're in trouble. So you don't want to get in trouble.
Yes.
And that's about what I got from my mother when she would preach to me. And I was a good girl, I think. I think. We all think, don't we?
And you grew up amongst the Lebanese community.
Oh, yeah. We had, there was a couple of streets where most people that came from across, my mom and my father were from Lebanon, and they came across, and we all kind of they all bought apartments next to each other, and it's probably like the old village like you had in the old, that was very nice because we were family.
Yeah.
We had the church, everything that went on in the church or in the club was family. And we considered all the people we knew was family. And we helped each other. But I don't, at that age, I don't think you remember too much.
Do you have any special memory from your childhood that you'd like to share?
Memories? No, I got some pictures. That's it.
Well, just anything special that you remember about your childhood living in that house or with your brothers and sisters?
Well, one of them was not very nice. My mother was very upset with me. And she made me kneel down at a bed, near the bed. And I had a brother who walked in when she was in church. And he says, "What are you doing there?" I have to kneel. Mom says not to move until she comes home. He said, "She's not here. What's the matter with you? Get up." He was talking. He didn't care. I could see the personality he had compared to mine. I can't. I didn't want to be punished. I said, "My mom's going to punish me." He said, "Did you eat?" He was worried if I ate. So I told him, "No, not yet. I'm waiting for Mom to come home. So I'm obedient." And he couldn't understand it. He laughed at me. He really laughed at me. Because he was the naughty one.
Yeah.
See, I'm lying to you. But
Okay. You grew up in the Great Depression era in the 1920s. So what challenges did you and your family face during those days, especially as a first-generation immigrant?
oh,
She was
it's
born in
different.
1927.
It's okay.
I wasn't even born.
But you went through the Depression.
Imagine, I wasn't born.
Yeah.
But do you remember?
I was born
Having-
1927.
Yeah. Do you remember having challenges because of the Depression?
I don't remember the Depression that much. I guess I was too young. I think I was too young to care or know.
Did you move to? You did move to Detroit. Was that because your father was looking for work?
Probably was the Depression when he got the family together and we went to Detroit, Michigan. My father invented something for them, but they didn't get no deal out of it. They pulled a fast one. You know what I'm talking about. What they call it? They have
A patent.
a pattern. You got to have a pattern. They never gave him a pattern. They gave him a raise.
Yeah.
They gave him a boss's job, a boss, and that was it. They must have made him sign something, and that he didn't know what he was signing. So those are things you got to be careful of.
Yeah.
But you don't remember the Depression affecting your life as a kid?
No, there's nothing that affected my life other than education. Education then was unheard of for everybody to be in college. They left when they were 16 to go get a job, and they worked. And that's how it was. And it might have been in the 20s.
Yeah. Did you have any jobs?
Well, I ended up in a sewing factory.
Yeah.
So I did do some sewing, and I enjoyed it so much that when I built this house, I sewed for every window. I did a lot of work
Yeah.
to make this house the way I wanted it. Yeah, I've been here now 50 years,
Oh, yeah.
a long time before you were born.
She designed this house.
Wow. Yeah. Can you have such a wonderful family and you have 4 children. Could you tell me more about your family and how you met your husband, Mr. George Howayeck, and your 68-year marriage?
You said that pretty good, Howayeck.
Very.
That's the proper way to say it.
Okay.
We say Howayeck.
Oh.
And I know how you could remember it. Just think of how we act.
Oh. That's clever. Yeah.
So he wants to know how you met Dad and to talk about your family. And you're
Oh,
married.
my dad, my husband.
Yeah, your husband.
Well, George, I was never interested in getting married.
Yeah.
My mother worried. But anyways, my husband came along. I met him through the family. They liked him and they liked me, and they thought we'd make a good couple. And there's not much, really. He's so easygoing. There's nothing I can say bad about him.
Your first date. Yeah.
You know what it is? I told him before we got married that I had to have my way.
Yeah.
Love that.
So he was very patient.
Yeah.
Till he played a trick on me, though. He didn't like his job.
Okay.
And he said, I said, why not? He said, because you got to work till 5 o'clock.
What was
I
his
don't
job?
like that. So his sister says, But I see the kids are always running to you, George. His name was George. And they go and they sit with you and you help them with their homework. And I think that's, a good sight there to be a teacher.
Yeah.
So he went and got his certificate to be a teacher.
Yeah.
So he's in school and he comes home in the middle of the day, like 3 o'clock. I was making dinner at 3 o'clock because he didn't eat all day. He'd only have coffee. So I hope I don't get carried away.
It's all right. Just tell that story and we'll get you back.
Yeah.
Just finish your story.
So he came home. He says, Florence. I said, what? He says, you got any plans today? I said, no, not really. Why? You got plans? He says, no. Do you mind if I go golfing? And then I put 2 and 2 together. What do you think I came up with? He found a job. He came home at 3 o'clock. He can go golfing.
Yeah.
That's what I had to worry about.
Why don't you tell him how did you meet Dad? How did he ask you out on your first date?
We were in a ballroom, and he says, I'd like to dance with you. Would you dance with me? And I said, no, I have to go home. I'm driving, and so I'm responsible. He says, no, I want to ask you something. I said, okay, I'll dance. So I get up and I danced. And I'm waiting to see what he's going to say. And he says, would you like to go to the Red Sox and see the Red Sox? Red Sox? I'm not a sports fan.
Yeah.
To myself, I don't want to go Red Sox. So I said, why? Who's going? He said, a gang. A gang. That means quite a few kids. He says, I said, who? Me, I'm always thinking. He says, he named me 3 names, Joan and Bob and I said, and he stopped. And you, about me, you and me. That's not a gang. What's he pulling on me?
Yeah.
That's a gang. So anyway, I looked at his face and I said to myself, what shall I tell him? I liked him. He seemed like an easy going guy that I would be happy with. So I'm sitting there looking at him, and he says, well, I said, okay. I was afraid to say no because his face told me, if you say no, I'm not going to ask you anymore. I got that much. I don't know what it was, but I knew. I'm almost sure to this day that he wouldn't have asked me. He was so afraid of me. I don't know why. Isn't that awful, me saying that? Don't tell him that. He's gone. He died.
He hears you. He knows
That's
now.
all. He died. And my sister says, now don't be greedy. When he takes you to the restaurant, don't order the best thing now. I said, I don't do that. She says, well, I'm just telling you. Be reasonable. So he says, what would you like to have to eat? They have lobster. You want lobster? I says, no. I didn't even know what a lobster was then. And then he says, oh, you don't like lobster? I said, no, I saw something, though. I love fried clams. That was only $3. I figured he can afford $3. And so that was it. Yeah. He got the waitress, and he tells the waitress, I'll have lobster, and she wants fried clams. He ordered. What I didn't even, I don't know what I thought, what I did. Anyways, that's what it was. After that, he took me, you want to go to a dance? They got a place here there for dancing. So, okay. I went around the clock when I think of it, 12 to 12. So what my mother didn't get, furious. And she didn't. She liked the guy.
She knew.
When she met, she's a nice boy, Oh, yeah.
And you said you went out once a week for a year, right?
Huh?
You went out with Dad once a year, once a
No,
week?
once a week.
Once a week.
Yeah, we never went out every day like you kids. Once a week. I picked Saturday. Everybody's going Saturday. Saturday, George would pick me up. He'd take his dad's car, pick me up. One day, he was stuck. He didn't have a car. He said, do you mind taking a bus? I said, yes. I don't want to go by bus. True story, honest to God. I didn't want to go by bus. Had somebody see me go with George, they can afford it, and they got a car.
Oh my gosh.
But anyways, that's what happened there.
And then he was in college, and then what happened? Dad was in college.
Oh, yeah, well, he was in school then. He
Yeah.
was heading for college then. He went to college 3 years. And the government said the kids are not joining like they want them to. They were giving them the freedom. If they want to go, they could. If they don't want to go, they don't have to. But if they're married, it's a no-no.
Yeah.
But he
got drafted.
huh?
He got drafted, and he had to go to Korea.
They took him.
Okay.
They took him.
The Korean
They
War.
came, they told him he had to go in. And we got a beautiful letter. And anyways, he says if we got married, I wouldn't have to go. He was trying to let me know. I said, I don't even know if I like this guy. Why should I feel for him?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Common sense. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I said, I'm not ready. I don't know. He says, would you want to get engaged? I said, okay.
Yeah.
I like the idea of the ring. So I had the ring. So we had the ring, and that solved that.
Yeah.
Time went on, and George is in the service now.
Okay.
We didn't see each other for a couple of years. That was tough for him. And he got hurt.
Oh.
While he was hurt, he was in the hospital. And he said, I'm going to go back. I want to go back when I'm all set, to the officer. He said, you can't because you were hurt, and they won't take you because you're not fit for the army anymore. Oh, he didn't like that. He didn't want. I said, why would you want to go back on me? I'm telling him, why was he begging to go back? Because he's bringing all those dumbasses in. The true story. He said, they're bringing them in, and they don't even know a darn thing. He said, if it wasn't for the Boy Scouts, and when I belonged to the Boy, I wouldn't have known a thing. He learned everything in the Boy Scouts he used in the army.
Yeah.
Was able to survive.
That was smart.
Did he serve in the army?
Huh?
How long did he serve in the army for?
How old was he?
No, how long was he there?
Oh, just 2 years.
2 years.
It was a 2-year thing. But it was a bad war because it was a front line and all. So anyways, the time came when the boys were getting letters from girls. They got a boyfriend, they got married, and they're not marrying the ones that... And I think he thought that for himself too. He must have couldn't sleep worrying about me leaving him. But anyways, when he was discharged, he didn't tell me. He was discharged. He hitchhiked home because he didn't have any money. a lot of sad things in there too, you know. He didn't have any money. And he came to my house. My mother says, I heard somebody coming in the house. The doors are all open. We used to leave the doors open. He walked in. He passed by her door. She's moved. She's my mother. Oh, I saw a guy with a uniform. She got scared.
Yeah.
And he came to my room. And he sat on the bed. Now, I felt that somebody is in that room. They sat on the bed. And he woke me up. And he just says, we're going to get married Thanksgiving. I said, Thanksgiving? I was thinking of a Valentine. No, he says, Thanksgiving. I said, well, we'll talk about it. Okay. We did. He won. Yeah, we had a wedding. It went beautiful. What am I going to say? I'm trying to think of something
And
crazy.
you had 4 children. You have 4 children.
Yeah, I got 2 girls, 2 boys. And I can say today, they've all are the best kids that God could have done for anybody.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. And I hope you'll be the same way. I'm sure you're not going to go in any army. You don't want that. But that's it. Okay, what else? He had respect. We both respect. But I did tell him one thing. I was always telling him one thing. But I think he was laughing at me, too. I'm thinking now, when I think about what he might have been thinking, I think maybe he's getting a big kick out of me, telling him my worries, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't do this, don't do that. I said, look, if I talk to the kids and I tell them one thing and I'm wrong, don't you dare butt in. You go along with me, all right? He goes, okay. He was that way. Okay. And so that's how we got along. I said, anytime there's something that's not right, tell me privately. Don't tell me in front of the kids and then make it an embarrassing show. So we did do that. Good. And, I don't know, we were very close.
We did everything to travel and the picnics
I
and
gave
the
up
beach.
all my trips with my husband just to take the kids because I enjoyed them. They were fun. They were fun. We were all happy, and that's all I wanted. I wanted happiness for everybody, and we got it. And they don't forget it. They keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important to know that you had a happy life, you know?
Could you share a specific memory you had with your children?
What?
Could you share a specific memory you had with your children?
I still can't.
A memory that you have with your children, with your family, your children.
Favorite.
A favorite memory. Do you have a favorite memory?
There was a lot of favorite memories when they graduated from college and high school. All that was, of course, a pride. Yeah, you're proud. You're proud that they got somewhere. Gary never knew what he wanted. He ended up being a lawyer. His wife got jealous. She wanted to be a lawyer. Now we got 2 lawyers. Now the son wants to be a lawyer. He's a lawyer. And his wife is a lawyer. So we got 4 lawyers so far. God knows where else it's going to go. True story.
Awesome.
We're going to have about 7 lawyers when I'm all done.
Great.
When I'm all done.
What were some of your favorite dishes to make?
One of my favorite dishes.
The
that I make-
Lebanese food that you make, yeah.
Well, chicken and rice is one of them. Lamb mystery, the shish kebab.
Oh, yeah.
Great names.
They like grape leaves, wrapped grape leaves.
And do you have a grapevine in your yard
Yeah, right there.
that you pick the leaves from? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all
It's
have
right in my
grapevines.
backyard.
Yeah.
We eat the leaves, Neil.
Yeah.
We wrap them with meat and rice.
Do you have that?
No, we don't.
Never had it? Oh, gee.
And she makes
He missed it.
a lot.
Other than sewing, what other hobbies or activities did you like to do in your free time?
Well, I used to love sewing, and I did a lot in the house to save money. Even though George was a school teacher, I still figured I could help him that way, and I did a lot of that, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because when you put something up and you did it, you're happy. You go and look at my curtains, just see why all the work I put into it. Yeah. That's anything else? I don't know.
You like play games with your friends? You play cards
we
and
had
dominoes?
Well, we're all grown. We played cards,
Yep.
couples, like your parents if they got together, and that was our recreation. And gone for a weekend somewheres. And we have a beach house. We go to the beach house, and it's very much like what other people do, especially today's world. It's not. Nobody's suffering that much right now, but I'm sure there is. Probably education. I'm being honest.
No, I agree.
No doubt about that. That's important. Anything, there's a yes and a no. Remember to pick the right one.
So Dad said, okay, well, do you want another baby? Or do you want to move? Because the house, they were in a very small, apartment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I said, I wanted 4 children when I first got married. And the years went by, and I got the 4 children. And George, the house is too small. If we have another kid, we're not.
Well, he
he
said, do you want another baby or do you want to move? We were going to build a house. And she's like, no, I want another baby. I don't care about the house. So then she had another baby. She had Gary. And then she looked at my father and she says, this house is too small. We need to build a new house.
Not going to live that long. I'm here. And I just figured that was a deal. So we had Gary.
Because they lived in the same complex. Yeah. And then you designed this house.
So my last question for you today is, what message do you have for my generation, Generation Z, and what can we learn from your experiences in life?
Oh, okay. What advice do you have for his generation? What advice do you have for him? Kids,
Well,
what would you say to
You
them?
have to make yourself happy first.
Yes.
If you can't do that, you failed. That's the way I feel. And by doing that, I was always trying to put the best face for the family, always have a good reason, a good answer for the kids when you have a family. Of course, you're not thinking of that stuff now. But that's about it. And no, and right is right and wrong is wrong. Always remember that, so you don't get in trouble. Because you're more important than all those people that would want to convince you to do something that you don't want to do. If it ever comes up, I hope it doesn't.
Sure. Yeah.
And you were saying recently, it was about this, to hang around with people that are
Oh, the best people to hang around is people you know that you were brought up with. I always said that. When I was growing up, going back to me, I was always with the friends. My mother and her friends were all of that same generation. And I learned to be with their children. And we'd be ashamed of each other if one had an idea and that was off. I wouldn't take a chance. I'm just afraid because you just don't know, you know. And sometimes you might laugh at something and say, "Oh, they don't know anything," but you just don't know. You don't take that chance and hurt yourself and your family because they come first.
Sure.
You agree?
Yeah, I do.
Of course.
Listen.
So thank you very much, Miss Howayeck, for allowing me to interview you. I've learned a lot from you, from your 97 years of experience. So I just want to thank you once again for all of your advice and for sharing all of your experiences.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's a compliment.